This is a pair of wide toe Barefoot water shoes. I was sent these to review for free. They haven't paid me for my review, and my opinions remain my own. Alright, so these shoes have a mesh top. They have a kind of plasticky rubber sole here. There's some strategically placed holes here, I'm assuming for water to drain out of the bottom. And there's a whole bunch of mesh inside here, so you can see there's kind of a liner, this kind of a foam liner, has a whole bunch of holes in it. And I'm assuming that the water that gets in between this liner and this bottom sole here just escapes out through these holes on the bottom or just evaporates away. So it has a little spring button here for tightening up and pulling loose. It has a loop on the back to put it on. So I normally buy size 10.5 shoes, and these are size 10, they're 43 centimeters. The reason I went down a half size is I'm planning on wearing these without socks, and it specifically said that the toe box was wide. They're wide toe shoes. And I normally buy 10.5 because I have wide feet, not necessarily for the length. I'm about a size 10 length. So they were listed as 10 to 10.5, and the next size up was 10.5 to 11. So I went with the slightly smaller size, and we'll see how that works out for me. If you wanted to buy these, they would cost you about $25. Alright, these fit pretty well. My toes are right at the front, so I could have gone with the 10.5 to 11 and I think been just fine. So I don't think I needed to size down a half size, even though I'm not wearing them with socks. Comfort-wise, it's pretty good. It is kind of a water shoe. It's foam. You're standing on foam, so it has kind of that feel of, the sole of your foot gets hot. Now, the mesh on the top here is really nice. I'm not having any problem with, sweaty feet or anything on the top. So, there's definitely good airflow on the top. And since these are water shoes, once you get in the water, everything's going to be wet. So I'm going to have to try them out there and see what I think. Alright, so I have worn these on 3 different occasions, out on a rowboat, on a sailboat, and just playing in the water. There's a little bit of sand inside, but not bad all in all. The soles mostly keep you above the sand, or I should say that they keep your weight supported without going down into the sand too much because they're pretty solid. They are still damp, but they dry out pretty quickly, and the major part of the water drains away from your feet. They're not too hot at all. They have a little bit of foam in the bottom there, but all those holes keep it from getting too sweaty, especially if your feet are wet at all. And the fit's pretty good. I've been pretty happy. They're comfortable. The only thing I have a comment about is this heavy thing here. When you walk around, that thing kind of thunks. You don't notice it too much, but if you're walking distances at speed, you kind of feel that thump, 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 thump on the top of your foot. And so if you tuck that under a lace, that gets rid of that bounce.